Welcome everyone to the episode of the Definitive Crusade. Happy holidays, happy Christmas. It is the time between the twixt. There you go. There's some English for you. Joining me this time around, as always, it is the random dude, Josh.
What is up? Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Did you have a good Christmas time?
I did. Yep, got a new Batman shirt. Got some Magic the Gathering booster packs. Got a new tattoo.
Whoa. Check out the arm. Check out those guns. Indeed. All right, and of course, it wouldn't be TTC without Matthew.
Someone was talking about guns, and I figured I'd pop in.
No, that is not a Red Hood joke. Break out the crowbar.
Come on.
Killing me. All right, okay. Before we get into the fun of today's show, a special shout out, I think. We are going out live, so all the people out on Facebook, Twitter land, and so forth. As you know, regular watchers of the show, Josh and I are huge football fans. We could not let today go by without commenting on the passing of the legend that is John Madden. For those that aren't aware, John Madden was a player, coach of the Oakland Raiders for 10 years or so, took them to the Super Bowl after many a time, and then walked away from coaching, went into broadcasting, became an absolute giant of American football from that point of view. And of course, his name is synonymous with the NFL thanks to that pesky game that comes out once a year. All right, so I'm calling on you, EA Sports, with the furore that's happening with the LA Raiders coach, or the Las Vegas Raiders coach this year. Please, for the 2022 edition of Madden's, please put in John Madden as the coach for the Raiders. Calling it. There you go.
Honestly, in addition to that, not only put John Madden in as the head coach for the Raiders, but he should be on the cover. This should be a special John Madden edition. And what I think would be really cool is because we're in a world of downloadable content, if they put in some of the classic Madden games, the old from the old Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, Sega Mega Drive.
I mean, it's all essentially the same game, though.
Yeah, but there was a lot of from a gameplay standpoint, it was very different. I mean, you couldn't do individual assignment audibles for specific players. You couldn't do hot routes and stuff like that on the original games.
But I do agree they should do a special edition for Mr. John Madden.
For those fans of the Mega Drive version, man, sweep left with James Brooks. Whoo, touchdown every time.
Is that back when the Dolphins would win? Oh.
8-7, bitch. 8-7. The Dolphins are the only team to lose 7 on the trot and win 7 on the trot. So where are your Bronx, dude? Where are they? Not in playoff contention.
Well, they're you know what the Broncos are doing is kind of like the effectiveness of a Red Hood comic. Nothing.
Anyway, before we get into football, and Matthew loses his hood to
us, Freyja is sitting there going, "Oh, thank God, I'm not there right now." Oh.
Yeah. I agree with Outlaws 9000. Ultimate Madden needs to be a thing to honor his legacy. That is damn tootin' straight, definitely.
Yep.
And if you want to know,
EA Sports,
it's in the game.
Royalty to us. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
That would be great.
And if for anyone who wants to know about American football, please pick up the book. You should be able to get it on Amazon. There's a book out by John Madden. It calls 1 Knee Equals 2 Feet. Right, so go check that out. It's about old timers, football stars, I guess you call them now. But it's a classic about the strategies and the idea of what makes NFL football. So There you go. Cool. Right. Back to the books. Right. So this episode, we're doing a bit of a different change of pace. It is the lean week between Christmas and New Year. And for everyone listening in the UK, yes, That means we get new comic books in our comic book shops thanks to the pesky Monday, Tuesday bank holiday rule for Christmas and Boxing Day. So we decided that we should do a little bit of an introspective of our favorite comics of this year. Now we're going to do this in some sort of crazy order. Believe it or not, I do actually have orders. Who'd have think that? So we're going to start off. I know it's like I'm prepared. It's like I'm prepared and stuff. I don't know what that's all about. Like I've been doing this too long. I have no idea.
How many years? Or do we not talk about that?
We shan't talk about that. All right. So first up is this book. Josh, I think this is one of your choices, actually.
Yes, it is.
All right. So there we go.
Quick shout out, C-List E-Man from California. Thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely appreciate it. Because that's what we do here when we go live. Bam.
Definitely. Yeah, cool. I mean, man, that's what time's California there? It's like
they were actually an hour behind me, so it is currently 11:37 Pacific Standard Time.
Well, there you go.
And I even converted that without thinking.
Well done. Boom. So this is Future State Wonder Woman #1, written by Joelle Jones, with art by Joelle Jones, colors by the fantastic, we say it every time a name crops up, practically, Geordie Belair, and letters by a gentleman who pops up no more than 3 different times on this list, Clayton Cowles. Josh, what was it about Future? I mean, take us back. What was Future State about?
So Future State was the big event coming into 2021 that DC was pushing out new books, new story arcs, and in this case, new characters.
Ooh.
And I remember us speaking at the end of 2020 saying, oh, holy hell, Future State, this doesn't look good. I mean, we had the new Batman. And as we started to dive into the books, it was absolute crap. I mean, not to shit on the writers or the artists, but the books they did not deliver. And then we come to Future State Wonder Woman. We have a new Wonder Woman. This is not Diana. And I can remember that episode in particular. That was one that you, Freyja, and myself, we were blown away with this book. The writing was fantastic.
Yep.
The artwork was phenomenal. And it was a fun read. And it brought us back to what comics are about, to just sit down and enjoy the experience of reading the book. And this was the one that really made the list for me. Swamp Thing was another one that was mentioned in the comments. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with Swamp Thing, but I'm not a big Swamp Thing fan. I have a very polarized opinion. But Future State Wonder Woman, I mean, she did a that was a phenomenal book.
Yep.
Geordie Belair knocked it out of the park with this one.
Definitely. So just to come back on Swamp Thing, I thought the first issue of the Future State Swamp Thing book was really, really good. It was lots of mystery. We had no idea what was going on. Second issue kind of lost its way a little bit and turned into something a little bit more standard, but at least from my point of view. Yeah. Matthew, did you read Wonder Woman? Because back then you weren't part of the team, were you? You weren't. This is like before your time.
I think he's so speechless that he muted his mic over this.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
So what had happened is probably what happened. When my mic disconnected for a second, it just didn't reconnect in the chat. But I was not part of the team. I was not part of the team when this came out. I joined June or July, roughly. Okay. And so this was a little bit before my time. I do remember reading the Red Hood Future State. Wasn't there a Red Hood one? No. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
You're thinking of Future State Gotham.
Yes, I'm thinking of Future State Gotham.
Yeah. Cool. With the black and white book, right? Cool.
Yeah. remember reading that, but I did not.
Okay.
I was not here for this part.
You missed out.
this is a great book, and it makes it worse that she's actually being promoted in her own book now. She's Wonder Girl. It's like, what's going on? For me, this was one of the breakout characters of Future State. It's great read. It's fun. The interaction between her and the horse. You think, what's he talking about with the horse? Go check it out. Simple as.
Yeah.
It held up for both issues, which I think was probably one of the problems down the line for a couple of the books that just didn't pay off.
Yeah.
Yep, Outlaw's right. It was the Future. It was Future State. Yeah, it was the Future State Gotham book, I believe.
And I remember hating the book because I was so excited for Red Hood because I'm a massive Red Hood fan, and I read the book.
Really?
And I just hated that issue. I know, right? Me, a Red Hood fan, can't believe it.
What? All right. Okay. So, good start.
And they've never stopped giving me crap for it.
And we will never.
It's just the way it works, mate.
Right?
It's just the way it works. All right. Okay. Next up is, I think it's one of my choices. We're staying in Future State. And we're going with this book. Let me just add it to the stream.
That's why we call them migraines.
Future State, Catwoman #1, written by Ram V, who I've absolutely loved for the most part on the Catwoman book. Art by Otto Schmidt, who pops up later on again. And letters by Tom Napolitano, who appears 3 times as well. So Clayton Cowles, you're not the only guy that's getting some recognition from the TDC crew. All right, so there you go. Just saying. So this is a bit of a heist book, in that Catwoman and a gang of strays are out to try and rescue a high priority target from a moving train. I think the thing that really got me involved in this book was the art. Otto Schmidt this year has just absolutely killed it. This book looked great. The second issue looked great on this. And of course, we're going to talk about them a little bit later about something else, which I think is one of Matthew's choices. Josh, I seem to remember were you quite ambivalent about this book at the time? Has time changed your mind, or did I remember it incorrectly?
I mean, it's definitely gotten better. Over time. Would I say that this book is totally shui? No. But that was the one thing. The art really stood out on this one and definitely had that Batman Beyond feel. And we all know, if you're regulars of the show, you know how much I love watching Batman Beyond, how much I love reading it. So yeah, that's a thing.
That's fine. I'm absolutely all right with that, to be fair.
And we didn't get the dominatrix Catwoman in this.
We'll be better in fishnets. Just saying.
I mean,
Catwoman and fishnets.
We're all a little thirsty here. We're just
Everyone's like, what's he talking about?
We're all a little thirsty here. Yeah. I mean, she is pretty thick. I'm just going to say that's nice artwork. But
for those that are up on Catwoman lore at the moment, Ram V has left the book as of the December issue, or the one that's in the stores right now. Next month, a new writer comes on board, and they're taking Catwoman back to her femme fatale ways. You've seen the advert in DC Comics this month where she's doing like a pole dance thing in high heels and stuff. So for those that like the cheesecake element of the Catwoman character, that's coming back. You know, I know that with Jim Ballant, Catwoman gets a lot of love from back in the day. I can see why. It's good to see Catwoman moving on past being just appendaged to Batman, which she feels she has been. She has been all year, thanks to the ongoing Batman and Catwoman book that never seems to come out on time or whatever. But Yeah, whoa. Almega. We need a character called Fishnets, created by Johnny like Lifehouse Pouch Man. It'd be a woman covered in fishnets. I think that's already been cooked. I think if you go back and check Gamora from the 70s, you'll find that Gamora was that person. So, just saying, old timers referencing.
It would also change the rating up for like E for everybody comics, like to like X rating.
Does anybody look at the ratings in comic books anymore?
No.
No. All right. Okay. So, Matthew, again, a little bit before your time, were you would find a Catwoman? Did you check this book out?
I did not.
I will say this: whilst looking at these books, I have to say something. When I looked down this list, and by the way, this list was put together by all three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There, of all these 3 books, all these 8 or 9 books we're going to talk about, all but one of them I have reviewed on Comics Crusaders. Now, if you're thinking, what's Comic Crusaders? It is our sister site full of reviews, articles, a chance for you to get into all our other pods through the Undercover Capes Podcast Network link. It's all on there, so go check it out. Comic Crusaders for reviews. They're all on there. If you want to see what I've looked at, type my name in the search bar, and boom, all my reviews for this year will come up. All right, so if you want in-depth comments from some of the books that we're looking at today, check that out.
Or really any other books. I mean, there's all the indie books that you've reviewed. So
that's a good shout.
Everything.
Yep. There's even some migraine in there. I won't tell you how many paracetamols I took after those. Right. All right. He's been quiet so far. We managed to keep him in his little red hoodie bit there, but now it's time. Matthew, I think this is your choice.
Yep.
So we're talking about the Joker series. This is Joker number 1. Now, this comes with an added feature, which is Punchline. So I'm going to give you all the creators for this one, because credit where credit's due, or blame, depending on your point of view. So the main Joker storyline was written by James Tynion IV, art by Gwilym March, who I think is fantastic. Colors are by Arif Prianto, and letters are by Tom Napolitano. Flip over to Punchline, and you've got Sam Johns writing. You've got Mirka Andolfo, who was absolutely kicking a storm up on Sweet Paprika. You can check that book out from him. I think it's Image. Colors are by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and the letters are by Ariana Meyer, who started out doing letters for a lot of indie books, I think, including Dynamite. So there you go. Check me. I'm a wealth of knowledge today. It's like I've done my research. Who'd have thought?
Wow. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought I'd have time between Christmas and New Year looking at comic books? All right, Matthew.
All right, so before anybody comes and hounds me by picking a Joker book, the reason I picked this book is not simply because it's a Joker book, but the fact that we don't follow Batman in it.
Hey.
It's a Joker book without Batman. The main character that we follow is Commissioner Gordon, Jim Gordon, who has been tasked by this lady who we find out later on to be a member of the Court of the Owls to try to track down and kill Joker. And he's doing this kind of away from Batman. Before he ended up leaving, he kind of told Batman he was like, I've been tasked by somebody to track down the Joker, kind of left out the killing part.
Yeah.
But it's a wild story. If you like reading, this is definitely one of the books you need to pick up, because it's one of the upsides and downsides of the book is that there is a lot of text throughout this whole thing, a lot of internal monologue that we see Jim doing. And I know Freyja hated it. Freyja hated the fact that she had to read so much. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed delving into the depths of Jim Gordon's mind. Yeah, and I love being able to see how his thought process was, how his trauma comes back and influence who he is as a person today, along with trying to do detective work. And we see like him trying to put pieces together, getting clues and information, making contacts, and doing old-fashioned detective work while trying to track down the Joker, who is apparently being blamed for an attack on Arkham that he did not do. And so now there's multiple factions of people trying to hunt him down, all while Jim is getting mixed up in all of it. I love this book, and I tried going back and reading issues 7 and 8, because the last I left off was 6, but I couldn't find them on our shared link, so I couldn't go back and read them. But so the last chapter that I left off of was chapter 6, right when Commissioner Gordon had been apprehended by police in France.
Okay.
So
isn't there a female Bane in this?
There's a female Bane that we are trying to figure out exactly who she is and what her backstory is as well. So she's a new character, and she's trying to get revenge for Bane.
Yeah.
Trying to remember all the factions who are trying to hunt down the Joker. Court of the Owls is one. The Bane faction, the FBI, and
Jim Gordon.
Well, that's why I said Court of the Owls, because Court of the Owls hired Jim Gordon. And so
I tell you what, you make a really interesting point in the fact that the book centers around Gordon's reaction to what happened to Barbara. Because there's lots of killing joke elements, I suppose, hinted at in this book. Going back a way, I can't even think of a time other than one time and around Batman 450 when Jim actually recognizes what's the trauma that he went through with the Joker and Barbara, because the current cop at the time, his blonde partner, gets attacked by the Joker goons, and he says, "Don't worry, Barbara, I'll get you out." And she was like, "Who's Barbara?" You know, it's like, "My name's not Barbara." And that's probably the only time I can think of off the top of my head where that aspect's been kind of explored. Josh, are you the Joker fan?
We've had so many Joker books, really over the last few years, especially where I've been on the show full time.
Yeah.
I'm burned out over the Joker. Now, Punchline, she's a different story.
I was going to get into Punchline next, with the because as you said, this book comes with two different stories. Jim Gordon following the Joker, and then Punchline, who is tracking down and trying to figure out the Joker's girlfriend, Punchline, or quote unquote Joker's girlfriend, because at this time Harley is not with the Joker anymore, so this girl has kind of moved in as the resident girlfriend.
She's better. She is better.
She is a better fit for the Joker than Harley Quinn.
Josh, well, I don't know how you think about this, but I think Harley's transcended the sidekick now.
She has, she's moved on. She's got her own franchise, her own brand, and so obviously Joker cannot work alone. Just like Batman has to have a sidekick. He's really unable to do things on his own anymore. Excuse me. But there's just something about Punchline that really made an impact. Maybe the fact that she's sick and twisted, maybe the fact that the artwork for her was absolutely fantastic.
It was really
ripped
well done.
Fishnets.
Why would you do such a thing to fishnets? That's just wrong.
Oh no, but she worked it. She worked it like a boss.
And that's something else I have to say about both of these books. Both of them, the artwork is really, really well done.
Well, I love Gwilym March. Gwilym March is an absolute star in my eyes.
Blows it away. But in Punchline, the last where I left off is that Bluebird. I'm trying to remember her actual name. But she has infiltrated the prison to try to get into a conversation with Punchline to try to track down a certain person. And Punchline has now framed her because this is Punchline we're talking about. She has access to multimedia things while in prison. Of course she does. And she's pretty much made friends with the entire prison gang. They all call her Queen. And she basically taunts Bluebird into attacking her and gets it all on film, and now is doing this whole media thing where like Punchline's actually a good person. They're just trying to frame her for what she believes in, or trying to put her down for what she believes in, trying to play things to her tune. And it's working for her. And now she's using Bluebird as a way to track down this person that she's trying to get to as well, because this person, if she could be found, would disprove everything that Punchline is trying to do.
So just to give some more background to what Matthew said, Harper Row is the character that's Bluebird. For those of the people, she's been around 10 years already. 10 years we've had Harper Row. We're talking to Freyja about it not so long ago. Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah.
10 years of Harper.
Well, honestly, if you think about it, though, the reason why Harper's kind of fallen through the cracks because DC's putting out so many books. And, of course, new characters are going to fall through the cracks when they're going up against the establishment, if you will.
Just continuous Batman books, continuous Joker books, continuous Justice League. All the side characters or smaller characters tend to get buried.
I don't know. She might have a part to play in the Batgirls. You never know, which is a totally different vibe, I suppose. But excellent, cool. For me, I'm with Josh on this. In fact, I'm with both of you. Too much Joker in the last 2 years. I'm up to my back teeth. When this came out, we were still in the middle of the Joker war, the Batman book, and like, oh, really? But Matthew raises some absolute corker points. It isn't just about the Joker, it's about Jim Gordon. In fact, it's more about Jim Gordon than it is about the Joker. The Joker's kind of just like the tool to get Gordon to where he needs to go. So
it's also the selling point of the book.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to buy a book that says Gordon on it.
you don't.
The Gordon.
Jim Gordon. What?
You're like, woo? That's a good shout. I like that one. You can just imagine that. All right.
That would be really funny. Just see Gordon on the cover, like, huh?
We'll have time for one more before we take one of our fantastic breaks for one of our lovely adverts. I believe the next one is one of mine. It's a relatively recent book. Let me just find what I'm talking about. And everyone laughs when I say this one, but here you go. I've always been a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for?
A fan.
Guilty pleasure of Supergirl, to be fair. Josh remembers back in the day when there was a Supergirl regular series, I was always harping on about, it's better than you think it is. So this is a mini series, 1 of 8. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. It's written by Tom King. Yes, that Tom King, the one I hate on Batman. Yes, I know. Art by Bill Quist L. Heavily. Colors by Matthias Lopez and letters by Clayton Cowles. I'm going to start off by saying this book. Storyline is dead simple. It's a 18th or 21st birthday. She's now legal to drink beer. I say 18 or 21st. It's 18 in the UK, so hey ho. So in order to go and have a party, she heads off to a red sun-covered planet. So she feels the effects of the alcohol. Her and Crypto, they get into a bit of a scuffle, and they both get shot with poison, basically. And now Supergirl's on a bit of a quest to find a cure, to catch the bad guy and catch a cure for Crypto. All right. So that's kind of like the main story. As she's going along, Tom King's touched on things like, yes, I do, Omega. Yes, I do. Such as things on, there's some racism elements in there, how she battles a certain planet who promotes one color of their species up over the other color of their species. It's not subtle in any shape, way, or form. The artwork, though, has this gorgeous European feel that just, you look at it the first time and you think, God, this isn't what I'm used to. And then you look at it the second time and you just realize, you just relish the idea it's something different from one of the big two. All right. I think this book reads well. I like the fact it's only 8 issues, so Tom King's pace has to be on track. And the art is great. And every time I see Tom King post pictures of his dogs on Twitter, I have to say, Tom King, stop posting pictures of your dogs if you're going to kill Crypto. You can't do both.
Right?
Son of a.
Too
So-
soon, man. Too soon.
So hopefully, I don't know if Crypto's going to survive yet. So fingers crossed. But if you want something different, you know, Supergirl's kind of been without a purpose for a while. This is just about her character. It's about the things that makes Kara Kara, in the same way that what makes Clark Clark, I guess. There's no overall scheme long time other than the story. All right, thanks for joining, and Outlaw, I will see you next time we do this. Thank you for joining us, dude. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
As
Cool.
always.
Josh, Supergirl. Was she?
I'm with you. The artwork on this was fantastic. I think this is really kind of the beginning of more of the start to finish miniseries that we've been seeing throughout the year. And I'm with you, seeing a book from Tom King that actually did well. Was very nice to have.
Indeed.
So I hope that just moving forward in general, they continue this sort of start to finish mini arc routes, because then it does give us some closure on the story rather than 50, 60, 70 issues worth of books. You know, it opens up the opportunity to release, you know, trades later on. So
cool. Excellent.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic pick. And when I saw this as one of them, I'm like, yep.
Good call.
You are a little bit of a softie when it comes to Supergirl.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. Matthew, Supergirl.
I could be remembering wrong, but I think I actually selected the second issue of this book as one of my picks for one of our episodes.
Oh,
Because I very vividly remember talking about how Supergirl was on the planet, and it's a lot of dialogue from this other woman that she's with,
correct.
and
You're
she's traveling with this person because they both have the same goal in finding the person who poisoned Crypto, who killed this lady's family. So I thought
there's a special place in hell for people that kill Crypto.
Yes,
yeah,
very much so.
At this stage,
And that place is right in the center where it's the hottest.
I don't particularly care about the other characters' family. All I care about is Crypto.
Right.
Yeah, duh.
But same thing with you guys. Artwork. Excuse me. Why am I yawning? Stop.
Tell us how you really feel about the book.
Yeah, it's really good.
The artwork's great, guys. Yeah, it's a great story. Wonderful book, wonderful story. I definitely enjoyed it the very first time we read through. Like I said, I picked up the second issue and liked it so much that I actually went back and read the first issue, so that way I could actually follow the storyline and know what was going on. Good read.
And for those that are buying this book, check out, there is a Steve Rude cover. It's a variant cover kicking around. That is just pure gorgeousness. So there you go. Go check that out. All right. There you go. 4 down. Joshua, I think it's time for one of our fantastic ads. What do we have?
Oh, it's an oldie but a goodie.
Woo!
Do you want to find out what makes the professor do his happy dance? Check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, only on the UCPN.
See what I did there? An oldie but a goodie.
I saw. Let me just. Oh, no, he put a goodie. Gotta love that, my friend. Got to love that. Let me just see. I'm trying to find. Yeah. Is this? No. Is this? Where is it at? Nope. It's not there. Where was it? Oh, there it is. Right, give me 2 seconds. The Steve Rude cover that I'm talking about is coming up just shortly. Doof. Chrome tab.
5, 6.
Boom. And there it is.
Count it out.
Oh, whatever. Losers.
Look, we were so kind. We gave you more than 1 second. We gave you 11.
No, 10. Counted them out of 10.
I counted 11, but then again,
See,
I'm not that guy.
So, sorry, Sesame Street. I didn't realize the show was brought to by the numbers 1 and 11.
1.
There you go.
3.
There's- And there you go. There's the Steve Root cover if you're interested.
Such
See
a,
what I mean?
I love that one.
That's
I
issue.
love it.
That's issue 6. So go check that out. There you go. Well, thanks, Machine, for the public service. Hey, you're welcome, guys. Whatever. Sons of bitches. That's all I've got to say. So, you sons of bitches, man. All right. Oh dear me. Sorry, YouTube, for swearing. All right. Okay. So the next one up is, I believe.
This is one of Matthew's.
Oh man, of course it is. Why did I not realize? Why did I not realize it's one of Matthew's?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So this
Of
is
course.
Task Force Z #1 or Z for those that use English as opposed to Americanized versions. Written by Matthew Rosenberg, who is currently killing it on DC versus Vampires, as well as horrendously treated on the Uncanny X-Men book from Migraine before Hickman got involved. Art by Eddie Barrows, who you will have seen on the Nightwing book long time ago in New 52. Inks by Iba Ferreira. Colors by Adriana Lucas. And I'm really, really genuinely sorry. I could not, for the love of me, find out the letter of this story, mainly because it is the one book here that I did not review on Crusaders, so I don't have it. But there you go. Okay, Matthew, this is your call. Take it away, sir.
So first thing I gotta say, this is the only Red Hood book that Freyja has also enjoyed. This is the only one that I know of that she has also enjoyed reviewing with me because the artwork is great, the storytelling is wonderful, just absolutely amazing. Damn it, Barry.
She liked the one where Jason Codd got by a crowbar. I really enjoyed that one.
Which, fun fact, Jason actually uses electrified crowbars in this, which is really cool. But
treat PTSD.
All right, yeah. But in this storyline, as we can obviously tell from the cover book, is that Jason has been tasked with leading a task force of undead villains and or heroes. Mr. Bloom, which we see in the cover, is actually not dead yet. Bane, the Knight character, Man Bat, and then a new character that I've only seen in one other issue. I can't remember which one, but I do remember seeing her in a different appearance. But that is the Sundowner with her alter ego, Hannah
Montana.
Something.
To get the best.
I was thinking the same thing, Montana.
No.
Oh, do we need to put a crowbar into that joke?
What is with you guys in the comments? Leave me alone.
comes with the job.
But anyways, wonderful read. So as I was saying, Jason is in charge of leading this task force. He in the recent issue, we find out that the guy who is tasking them to bring down. So hold on, I have to go into this first. I have to go through my bullet points. Give me a second.
One.
Okay. One. Yeah. All right. See, I'm not as slow as Johnny. Okay, you can only give me 2, not 10. But anyways, Jason Todd's covering the task force. The thing that's keeping them alive is kind of like a Lazarus pill. Basically, they have to take medicine so often so that way they continue to live and not revert back to, being dead. Or being undead, I should say, because with the pills, if they increase the dosage of it, it also gives them more sanity and gives them closer to the point where when they were once alive. We see in the most recent episode, or I keep saying episode, in the chapter that Deadshot has now joined the team, and the person who is tasking them to hunt down all these drugs and stuff that they keep finding is none other than Two-Face. So it's a really cool little plot twist because we've always been under the impression that it was another government faction, kind of like how Amanda Waller does the Suicide Squad. But apparently Two-Face has been lying to them this whole time and is just trying to collect all these life-spanning drugs. And so it's a pretty cool read.
Okay, cool.
Pretty cool read. I'm sorry that my points there were thrown off, but these guys above me kind of threw my brain for a loop for a second.
Is that because you're a Hannah Montana fan?
No. So I put my hands up, playing my... Okay, I'm done.
All right, okay. Josh, what did you think of Task Force Z or Z?
When was the release of this book? Because the more I think about it...
It's about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
It was October.
Yeah.
Because there's only been 3 issues been released.
Oh, yeah, end of October.
Yep.
I wonder if this was one of the episodes that I was gone because I do not remember reading this book.
Ah, right, fair enough.
I think I escaped this one.
Sorry, there's 4 issues have been released. Nope, I lied. 6. 6. I just updated. Just refresh. There have been 6 updates in this.
6?
There have been 6.
Blimey.
Or will be 6. You know, just ignore everything that I'm saying because I apparently am too dumb to read. Because
reading the book explains the book.
I know, right? There have been 3 issues released, and on the DC Comics website, it shows that issues 4, 5, and 6 will be released in January, February, and March of next year.
There you go. Well done. Well
there
done.
we go.
Today's episode was brought to you by the letters D,
by the letter
C, and T, and by the numbers 1, 2, and 10.
That's a Sesame Street joke, a very old show.
Yeah, I used to love Sesame
Street. Yeah, no. I mean, the cover on this is pretty sweet, and the fact that Red Hood is using electric crowbars, I find quite humorous. I may honestly have to go back and read it just to give it a good, honest.
I'd say go back and read it. If not for anything else, in the recent chapter we see, because hashtag spoilers, we see Jason. He's like, "Hey, I need to give my team some more dosage of this Lazarus stuff, so that way they're just not mindless zombies." And so they go through with it. They start gaining their intelligence back. Bane starts getting his intelligence back and helps. Like he ends up fighting. What's her name? Uses poison.
Poison ivy.
Cheshire.
No, not poison. She's like a ninja that uses poison.
Cheshire.
Oh, yes, Cheshire. They end up fighting her. Sorry, and then Bane comes in and just like pulverizes her and knocks her out. And he's like, "Whoa, Bane! We actually have to keep around to question." And he's like, "Okay." And he goes up to Bane and he goes, "All right, so also, you know what I'm about to do, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." "And you know why, right? For Alfred Pennyworth, right?" "Yeah." And he throws him off the rooftop and he falls like 40 stories and he radios in and he goes, "Yeah, we've lost Bane. He's incapacitated." So it's kind
of these pills make Bane the Batman and Robin Bane. Okay, makes sense.
So I will say that one of the things I have enjoyed is the wrong word, I suppose. One of the things that I've respected, I think, about DC is the fact that Alfred Pennyworth's death has maintained that line. He's not come back or anything like that. And the ramifications of that have been quite clear across the board. Regarding this book, for me, it was a take or leave it book. I like Eddie Barrows normally. The art here was a little bit, if I remember correctly, was a little bit scratchy in places. It didn't quite suit. I know Freyja quite liked it. So that was kind of my thoughts on it. This is a really great question by Awkward King. So is this an Elseworlds? Right. So it's not an Elseworld title per se, in that DC at the minute are running lots of alternative universe type storylines. So, for example, DC versus Vampires is an alternative universe story. Deceased and Dead Planet was another alternative universe story. The recent Justice League book, not the Infinite Frontier or Justice League Incarnate, but the one where Darkseid was in it. He had the power of the Green Lantern ring. Again, another alternative history book. It's a really great question. I wish I could turn around and say that this is definitely in or out of continuity. I really can't, I'm afraid.
Quick Google search should tell us.
Good luck. But what I would say is some of these characters are going to appear in different books. So, enjoy the ride. It's pretty much where I go. Yeah. So, yeah.
It is canon.
Oh, there you go.
It is canon. Oh. Jason received the suit he wears in Batman Urban Legends.
That's right, he does. You're absolutely right. So yeah, there you go. It is canon. It's not an Elseworld book. It's really happening.
That means Bane is dead. Man-Bat's actually dead. Mr. Bloom, I assume from the cover, is going to die eventually.
It's interesting we talk about Urban Legends. If you're not picking up Urban Legends, there are some absolute corker little stories in there. And it's not always just about the Batman, so it's cool. Great question, Awkward King.
Hi, King. King's a friend of mine.
All right, okay, cool. So yeah,
you have friends? What?
I was going to say, really? You have friends? Next up, another recent book. You know what? This is Josh's choice, and as much as he agreed with my Supergirl book, I kind of agree with Josh on this one. This book for me had such potential. I'm not quite sure for me whether or not it's lived up to it yet, but we'll see Josh's view on this. It's Batman 89, number 1. It's a mini series. Funny enough, it is the only pure Bat book on this list. So for all that content we've had of Batman over this year, I should say, this is the only one that made our list. It's written by Sam Hamm, who you will recognize as one of the writers of the Batman 89 movie. Art by Joe Quinones. Apologies if I said that wrong. Colors by Leonardo Ito, and letters by Clayton Cowles. There you go. Josh, I think we should be playing the Danny Elfman theme when we look at this book.
We should, but then YouTube will strike us for using copyrighted stuff.
All right. So, pause the pod. I can't, we're live. Tell you what, when you go back and listen to this, go and play the Batman theme.
Yes. All right, Batman 89. This is the story that would have been Batman Forever. Or actually, no, technically Batman Returns, now that I think about it. So, going back to 89 and even 1991, with the success of Batman, the original plot or plan for Batman Returns was Tim Burton wanted to run with Billy D. Williams' character as Harvey Dent to become Two-Face. This is also during the time where they wanted to actually cast Robin into these movies with Marlon Wayans as Robin. And one thing led to another. That never happened. We got the Batman Returns that we have now with Danny DeVito's Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. And this book is that story that we never got back in the early 90s. So we have Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent as back as Harvey Dent. Now Two-Face, we get Robin into it. This is just a and I'm going to take what Awkward King said. This is the Batman stories paying homage to those classic movies that really set comic book movies in motion. Superman 78 was another one that came out around the same time, but Batman was the one that really kind of hit me more. I feel like they really did a good job with maintaining Bruce Wayne, the Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne that we're going to get back in the Flash movie, and now recently announced he'll be reprising his role as Batman in the Batgirl movie. Ooh. So I love this. It was great to go back to that world, the Burton world of Gotham.
All right. Just to clarify a little point you said there, when you say 78, this came out about the same time as 78, you talk about the comic book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Superman 78, the comic book that goes back to the Christopher Reeve Superman with Margot Kidder as Lois Lane and Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. So kind of a cool homage the DC went with. And to be honest, I'm okay with. It was great to see them explore these stories with characters that we all know and love.
I would say, I mean, I am reading this series. I am quite enjoying it. It's not. I'm reading it. I'm glad they didn't make this movie because it's all over the shop. Catwoman's back in this. She looks great.
Mm-hmm.
There is allusion to that's allusion, not illusion. There is allusion to Shrek's demise in this. So I think it might have started off as being planned as the Batman Returns that we didn't get, but then they've had to, because we've had Batman Returns, to kind of pigeonhole.
Yeah, so they've taken the two movies and all the characters within that and just kind of compiled them together. Which I will say that the art captures the feeling of the movie brilliantly. I am a little bit sad that couldn't get Jerry Ordway. For anyone who wonders why, he's the guy that drew the original Batman '89 movie adaptation. Oh, that was such a great book. I have that one actually.
So if they could have got Jerry Ordway for this, not to say that Joe Quinones is bad. He's not. He's great, but I would have just liked a little bit. Matthew, have you been up on your Batman '89?
I'm not.
Were you even born when Batman '89 came out?
I mean, when did it come out?
I think 1989. That's where the title comes from.
I figure that's where it came from. I'm just no. I was not alive.
I'm not drunk enough for this, guys. Oh,
I said that under the pretense that I thought you knew when I was born because I have stated it on the channel before.
That's under the pretense I was paying attention.
Yeah. I was born in '95.
Oh, there you go.
God, I feel old.
Yeah, so I was not born. My comment was more sarcasm and rhetoric than anything else.
All right, okay. We'll scratch that. We'll just make sure that we'll cut that out of the edit.
I mean, you already called me Josh. I'm pretty confident we don't look anything alike. It
was a mistake. Just chill out. What do you think?
I mean, I've got hair. Just look, so lovely, so lovely.
Yeah, but Josh has got more hair on his chin than you have on your head. So
I mean, give me a week and I've got it back.
So let's not talk about hair, right? Because I am.
We're here to talk comics, not hair.
All right, what do you think of the book?
I'm not caught up with it.
All right, okay.
I'm not caught up. It was 6 out of 10 for me. 6 out of 10 for me. I wasn't fully invested in it, but I was able to be like, okay, I can see the allure for it. But
all right, okay, cool. All right then. So just really for us, old timers,
yes. Old timers,
yeah, cool. Yeah, just remember that when you're singing Keaton's praises in the next movie. That's all I'm saying. Right, okay. Next up, our penultimate book. All right, so it's been a ride. We're up to pretty much modern times, modern year, modern part of this year, I should say. Next up, let me find it. Look at you being all. After your last comments, I'm not even going to be nice about this book anymore. I can't lie. I reviewed the last issue for Comic Crusaders. It's on there now. Go check it out. And I was absolutely blown away by the last issue. So, hey ho. It is what it is. We are talking about. It is an alternative universe story. It's DC versus vampires. 1 of 12. It's a maxi series. This is written by James Tynion IV, also with Matthew Rosenberg, who was mentioned already. Yep. So that's 2 strikes for both of those. Colors by Otto Schmidt, who's also been credited before for the Catwoman book, and letters by Tom Napolitano. I will say that Otto Smith also provides colors as well, if I didn't mention that before. Matthew, this is your book.
Yep. And once again, these two guys, Tinian and Rosenberg, are just absolutely knocking it out of the park. They are doing an amazing job. When I first started reading it, I was like, okay, vampires, it's a thing, you know. But after reading the first issue, specifically one scene made me like invested into this. And I've said about it the last time I reviewed it as well. The scene that got me was when Green Lantern turned Wonder Boy into a smoothie. And that was just when I was like, oh my God, we're going dark here. Like, oh my God. And so it turned him into a smoothie, drank him, was like, too watery for me, and dumped him down the drain. And we see in the recent issue where Batman is actually going through the sewers and trying to find the remnants of the Wonder Twin. And oh my, and this recent issue, I literally read it today and screamed at my screen. I was like, no, because Green Lantern. So Green Lantern in the previous
spoilers.
Hashtag spoilers. The book has been out.
The book's only been out a day. So.
I'll talk about I'll talk about the last issue. The last issue, we see that Green Lantern actually lures Barry Allen, which, if you don't know by now, Green Lantern has been converted into a vampire. And the reason why he's able to hide it so well is because the power of his ring is able to filter out sunlight. And so he can walk through the daytime and masquerade as a normal human. But he lures Barry Allen to an offshore area to talk with him, and he ends up killing Barry. So it was really sad to see, really sad, upsetting scene. And in this new issue, oh my God,
I'm with you on this. I've go check out the review on Crusaders, because I swear to God, Matthew is bang on right with this book. Bang on right.
Because, like I said, I wasn't into it at first, and then I read the first book, and now I have to stay updated weekly, regularly. I have to do it because it has such a great sense of suspense. It has such a great sense of suspense. And so after you end up reading each chapter, you are wanting to go ahead and want more. You want to go ahead and get the next issue. And it's absolutely wonderful. Not to mention the artwork is same with Task Force Z, is just killer. It's slightly different styling.
Slightly
different styling. But absolutely amazing nonetheless.
This is just vampires are cool. Vampires are sexy. You want to know what I'm talking about? Buy the new issue. That's all I'm saying. Josh, DC versus Vamps.
So I missed this one. However, based on the conversation between Matthew and yourself, I'm actually going to pick this one up and check it out, because
please do.
Now you have my attention.
The fact that both me and Johnny like it,
I mean, that does say something.
It says something.
I think the other thing that, and maybe it's the magic brain side of my brain kicking in, I've noticed an increase of vampire related stuff.
Supernatural stuff, definitely.
And Innistrad just dropped. So
yeah, Innistrad Crimson Vow is out. Everything's about vampires right now within the current Magic the Gathering meta. For other information about that, check our other show.
Hey, the Jank
Think Tank. But no, I will definitely check this one out, because, like I said, you have my attention.
I'm just going to say one more thing, and it's about the recent book, and it's no spoilers, but man, does Zatanna look hot.
I know.
Like, if she was drawn like that in Justice League Dark, you would have my attention. Warp speed.
Okay, well now you've got my attention.
I want to talk about it so bad right now, but we can't because it's only been out.
It's only been out one day.
One day.
Honestly, if this was our regular show and we were recording for later on in the week, I would let you wax lyrical, but it's not, unfortunately. Definitely. You know, we have to be a little bit conscious of the fact people have no idea what we're talking about. So I appreciate your restraint. Well done.
Although it is killing him right now because he's just like,
it's so killing me. I'm going to rant about it as soon as we end this live. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You know, it really bites, doesn't it? And on that
it
note,
bites. Slow clap on that one. That was good. That was good.
I'm here all week. Don't forget to tip your waiter. All right. Okay. Yes, Awkward King. Yes, us old timers. Woo! All right. Okay. So the last book up is my choice. It's bang up to date. It is Catwoman Lonely City. It's the only black label book to make the list. When you think of how many black label books we've had this year, it's like, how's that ever happened, right? Okay, so
I did almost pick Batman Reptilian.
But
I decided not to.
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't either.
So this is written by, art by, colors by, letters by, stapled together by, I don't know,
distributed by
Cliff Chiang. And it's basically, for those not in the know, it is pretty much, think Dark Knight Returns, but take out Batman and put in Catwoman, and that's the kind of vibe that you're going for. The art style is a lot leaner. It's a lot more simple lines. It's not as heavy as Frank Miller and Klaus Janssen's classic work. But it's basically, the way it works is Cillian's been in prison for 10 years. There was a night where everyone got killed. Batman got killed. Jim Gordon got killed. She's now been released. Harvey Dent's in the running to be mayor again. Barbara Gordon is standing up against him. And Selina has got this memory that's endued with her from Batman's last conversation, how she has to go and get the Orpheus. To do that, she has to go and break into the Batcave. All right. So it's kind of like it's like a heist book, which you'd expect with Catwoman, but it's an interesting read. It's a fun read. It steals from different parts of Batman mythos, just the same way the Dark Knight Returns did. For me, this book has been an absolute blast to read. I absolutely love this book. Josh, thoughts?
Can I just say, let's take a moment and admire the picture that you've chosen, the homage. I mean, we've got Lee Merriweather. Yep. Her Catwoman up on there. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hate myself. Julie Newmar. Oh my hell. Bat fans around are gonna take my Bat membership cred because I
give me your tattoo
Julie
back.
Newmar.
Give me your t-shirt back.
You know, I love the fact that as you said that they're pulling from different mythos within Batman and Catwoman's history. I mean, I'm looking through book 2 at the moment. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
There's a nice comment about the Jim Ballant Catwoman versus the Darwin Cook Catwoman in there.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Why can't you like both? But, you know.
Yeah, no, the artwork on this is stunning and definitely deserves being the only Black Label book to have been selected.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Good call.
Thank you very much. Matthew.
Everything's already been said.
What he said.
Yeah, exactly. What they two said. Excellent book. Really, really good homage to that one line. It's a really good book.
There you go. Cool. Excellent. There you go. That's our rundown for DC for 2021. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. For everyone who's watching live, thank you for spending the time with us. Really do appreciate it. For those that are catching us up on YouTube or on the Undercover Capes Podcasting Network, thanks for checking us out. And I hope you're doing this at a relevant time and we're not just your hangover queue on New Year's Day. If we are, I'm really sorry about the singing because that's probably going to give someone a headache. Gents, I think all that's left for me to say is don't forget, as always, Don't forget to check out the UCPN. That's the Undercover Capes Podcasting Network for all your favorite shows, including Matthew.
The Jank Think Tank, where we discuss Magic the Gathering, deck techs, card combos, and all your favorite cards.
Cool. Joshua.
Oh, 2022 is going to be the year of Flipside Focus.
Bring back the battle card.
It's going to be all things indie comics. It is, if you want books that are not in the big two, that's going to be the show for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do that live.
Oh, we always do that live. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we'll keep it live. We love a bit of live.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget, you saw the advert earlier. Don't forget to check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where all those comics of yesteryear are talked about. The hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. Don't you look at me like that. All right, everyone, have a safe and happy New Year. Feel free to enjoy and take alcohol and do whatever it is you do to have fun. Remember, don't spill any alcohol in your comics unless you're in the little pluggy bags because you'll ruin them.
Yeah,
everyone here at TDC wishes you all the best for the new year, and we will see you in 2022. This is Joey the Machine Hughes. As always, adios.